the street chasing wrong from right. Eyes like fire burning through the haze. Truth is a weapon, cuts through the maze. Some call her trouble, some call her brave. Digging up secrets they tried to save. A real deal around town. She's breaking it down, spinning the wheel, exposing the sound. They despise her, they praise her, but she won't slow down. Real deal around town. The truth's her cry. Shadows, they curse her name. Afraid of the spotlight she brings to the game. But the grateful ones, they cheer in the dark for the spark she ignites in their weary hearts. Some call her danger, some call her hope. She's the thin line on the tightrope. The sound. They despise her, they praise her, but she won't slow down. Real deal around town. The truth's her crown, yeah. The sound. They despise her, they praise her, but she won't slow down. Real deal around town. The truth's her crown, yeah. The truth's her crown, yeah.
We're back. So soon. This is only my third video for today. I had things to do today, and ask me how much I got done. Nothing. Nothing. Well, I got videos done today. That's about it. So welcome everybody for another, I don't know what this is. This is the select board meeting. I don't know if I've even taken, what is on the agenda? Anything good? Well, I'm hopefully, I don't know if it's on the agenda, but they need to go over the disaster from town meeting, don't they? Let's see. Oh. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Dum-dum-dum-dum. I guess I don't think there's anything here. Oh, no. There's nothing on the warrant directly that speaks to an, oh, wait a minute. Oh, great, thank you. Okay. So I'm looking at the agenda, and there's nothing here that speaks directly to things that may have occurred at a special town meeting. That's amazing. So they can't talk about the special town meeting because it's not on the agenda. What? You know, there's nothing on the website about it. In fact, they even took down the agenda for the special town meeting. So anybody that's looking for information, oh, wait a minute. No. Oh, hold on. It is. I'm wrong. Okay, back up. I I always tell the truth. And I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I admit I'm wrong, okay? Item 5.3. I thought it said within annual. No, I'm wrong. No, I am right. Hold on. It says discuss special town meeting on 5.5 within the annual town meeting and the timeline. Absolutely zip about the special town meeting that we just had last Thursday. Not here. Nothing. Now, I'm assuming that they're going to attempt to, the town administrator updates and reports, there's nothing listed under that. So I suppose he might try to sneak something in about the special town meeting. He really shouldn't, because it's not on the agenda. And you can't use town administrator updates to sneak in things that aren't on the agenda. That's not allowed. We've already gone over that. The Attorney General's already ruled on that. Can't do it. I think they have. I don't know. There's so many open meeting law complaints filed against this board. I don't know. But let's see. They are on. I'm going to let you see what I see, okay? Before remove the other media. Got it. There you go. That's what I see. We are waiting. They got 4 minutes. The track record lately has been, we're going to wait until the meeting posting time before we start getting ready. So I could probably start my video at the meeting time, and then we'll still have plenty of time because they won't be ready. Lori's probably tired because she just did one. She just did a meeting. I don't know if you want to call it a meeting. It was a meeting. It was just interesting. They're probably all wondering what their purpose in life is after that meeting. But we shall see. All right, I got nothing. If you didn't watch my last, I did some shorts. I did a short on David Vigent, because I talked about David Vigent at the end of my last video. So I did take a short out of that and post it on my channel regarding David Vigent. The reason why we haven't gotten a decision is because the Ethics Commission is still deliberating. They do it they deliberate in executive session at their meeting. I think their next meeting is this Thursday, so it's this week anyway, and it is on their agenda to go. They're having, of course, another executive session to discuss cases, and it says continue deliberations on the David Vigent case. So hopefully they'll have it finished this week and then publish it soon thereafter. That would be really nice, wouldn't it? So I find it interesting that they're taking 2 meetings. Of course, the last meeting, it did go pretty long, the hearing part. So they might not have really felt up to it. And of course, they have to deal with Boston traffic after they leave there, so they might have wanted to get on the road. I don't know. I mean, that's a legitimate concern, because these people are not employees. The commissioners aren't employees. They're volunteers just like us. They might get a stipend. I don't know.
Hi, Chief Kim.
Here we go.
You ready for us?
Oh, that would be good.
This meeting is being recorded.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Laura Schifrin, and I will call the meeting of the Select Board to order on March 24th at 6 p.m. Roll call.
Veronica Cal present.
Valerie Goodrich present.
And Laura Schifrin present. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would like to thank all of our veterans as well as all of our militaries serving here and abroad, all of our emergency public safety people, all of our staff, and our elected and appointed officials. Without you, we wouldn't be able to get anything done. The meeting is being recorded and will be uploaded to YouTube. Is any recording? Thank you. 4, review the minutes. Is there a motion?
I value it to move to approve the meeting minutes of February 2nd, 2026, and the joint meeting, March
Thank you.
2nd, 2026, and the joint meeting of March 17th, 2026.
Is there a second?
Veronica Kell second, but I have a question about the 3/2/2026 minutes.
Yeah, that was a joint with the CPA.
Should that be indicated in the heading? I didn't put that in, but I read this and thought, what meeting are we talking about?
Yeah,
And
that was the CPA.
And,
Probably.
Do you want me to just add it right now?
Yeah.
yes,
The joint, and then. the-
Capital planning and FinCom, right?
Yes,
was it capital planning?
yes.
It was,
Yeah, because it was a CPA kickoff.
Oh, no, CPA, yeah.
it's CPA.
Sorry.
That was the second.
It's CPA.
That was March 2nd was CPA, but the 17th was joint with.
Yeah,
finance.
that one is fine, but this one is not.
CPA, community preservation.
Committed.
Okay, is that okay?
Yes, that would be fine. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
that,
No problem.
okay, got it. Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote,
Veronica Kell.
Valerie Goodrich,
and Laura Schifrin, aye. Under new business, appoint Noah Medeiros. Is there a motion?
I Valerie Goodrich move to appoint Noah Medeiros as summer intern to the water department, Medeiros, as summer intern to water department with effective start date June 1st, 2026, contingent upon completion of all necessary onboarding and approval by the finance committee.
Second?
Veronica Kell second, but I have a question. Is it June 1st? I thought it was after school was out. So in other words, I don't have any problem with it, but I don't know that June 1st. It's the first day of school summer break, so I haven't seen the motions, but that motion,
The motion is for June 1st, but I thought, what's on the
Maybe.
paperwork? I saw the
Yeah, the
paperwork. It's
paperwork is June 1st also.
June 1st.
Maybe it gives
I
time
thought I
for-
saw it.
It may also be weekend work too. Who knows? You know, I don't know what they're,
okay,
yeah.
just thought I'd bring it up.
Okay, no, I was good with it. Anything else? Roll call vote,
Veronica Kell, aye.
Valerie Goodrich,
Laura Schifrin, aye. 5.2, reappoint Anna Bowen. Lucas,
Kazanjian.
I'll let you finish. Is there a motion?
I Valerie Goodrich move to reappoint Anna Bowen, Lucas Kazanjian, Conrad Tassini as summer interns to the water department with effective start date June 1st, 2026, contingent upon completion of all necessary onboarding and approval by the finance committee.
So, is there a second?
Veronica Kell second.
Discussion?
So this is just a general thing. What is the policy for disclosures of family members? This is just in general, not necessarily for these. Making sure that if there are appointments of family members, that people are not reporting to their family member. This is just in general for all these summer appointments and interim appointments. How does that work?
I think they should check with human resources.
Yes, I think that's an excellent idea.
I think it's also on the,
So that's what I will,
Is there a policy?
I think it's also an ownership of the individual
Other
in
than
charge to
ethics.
disclose. Yeah, I think, but it's on the
There's
person
no-
in charge.
You can't
So their
order
ownership to
somebody to
disclose
do a
ethics.
disclosure. That would be a
Or department head
violation.
to ask, you know,
Only
If
the
I had a
employee
kiddo
who
and
has
they
something
were
to disclose
repping soccer.
will
for
make
the
their
town.
own decision if they
department
have
head, you
something
would
to
say,
disclose. You cannot order
Mine's
an employee
child
to file a
repping soccer,
disclosure.
what should I do? TA here, and I would say you should file an ethics disclosure.
right.
because there are ethics guidelines for these, and I presume HR
You
is going to
cannot
say that as
force
well.
anybody to file an disclosure.
So hopefully
The employees
some
should call
says
ethics
after.
themselves.
That's all. Thank
Noted.
you.
Okay. Is ready to vote?
Yep.
Okay, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schifrin, aye. 5.3. Kieran,
So 5.3, I know we are thinking about having a special town meeting within the annual town meeting. That's been somewhat of a tradition, and that would be to carry forward the 4 articles that we didn't get to do when we lost quorum a couple nights ago. So that would be something we want to open the special town meeting warrant for 5.5 within the annual town meeting. And for me, it would be really just bringing forward those other warrant articles that we weren't able to vote on.
And can we make a motion right now to open the special town meeting and close it right after we put those 4 articles in?
We could.
All right, so I
so
know
nobody else has a place card or anything for the special?
Not at this time, to my knowledge. We have placeholders for our
Annual,
regular
yeah.
annual town meeting. But I don't have any others going off the top of my
And we
head.
have all the necessary ones for our capital and moving money around, if like the sale of properties funds, we have placeholders for all that.
Yes,
Okay,
Which we'll get a report on later, but,
as long as those are in there, I'm fine with it.
so, the moving around being the TCAM money that gets done at
There's a
the annual?
placeholder on the annual town
On
meeting
the
warrant.
annual,
Correct.
doesn't need the special.
Is it all 4? I thought it wasn't gonna be all 4.
I didn't think it was either. In fact, I thought it was gonna be none of them.
They were gonna, but we never got to take no action on them.
Yeah.
So they're just sort of outstanding, and because we lost quorum, they're just sort of floating in the Bermuda
Okay,
Triangle.
fine.
So we should, it would be a really quick special town meeting where it'd be like, we're gonna take no action on 7, 8, 9, and 7, 8, 9, and then 10 and 11 are just those technical code corrections that the town clerk had observed and wanted us to correct.
Okay.
So those we should do. It shouldn't take,
if we're doing take no action on those 3, why don't we just do the 2 that are the E code?
Do we have to put them out?
Yeah, but we didn't take no action.
we never
We never
voted.
voted that.
So they just, again, they're just floating.
All right, so I move that we open a special town meeting warrant for inside the annual town meeting for placement of the 5 articles that we just addressed last special town meeting last week,
March 19th.
and close the warrant.
Correct, yep, it's Articles 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 that were not opined on or visited.
Okay.
Is there a second? Okay, any further discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Are you gonna check?
And Laura Schifrin, aye.
When are we gonna close it?
It's closed.
Okay.
It was part of the
Open and
motion.
close.
Part of the
Make
motion.
sure.
Okay, 5.4. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, I read through this one.
It's yours.
Gosh,
I have no comment.
Oh, are you talking about the
The
Mason
Mason,
Regional
yeah.
Planning Board? Okay, so here's the map of where those trucks
Yeah,
are
I
gonna
know.
be coming through Townsend for the next 5
I
years.
know.
Yeah,
10 years, not 5, 10. And it involves the intersection right
Mhm.
here at 13 and 119. I went through the
That
whole
should be
thing
fun.
last
Yeah.
night.
So did I.
And
It's not particularly,
so, and it's at 7 PM tomorrow, the comments. And I just want to make sure that they stay on the main roads and don't cut off and cut down Wallace Hill to 119, because that will cause a huge problem at the high school. Because some of these are going towards Pepperell on
Mhm.
113. And it's way quicker, right about where that dot is,
yeah.
to cut down to the
Okay.
high
Mhm.
school. And that is a problem in my book,
Mhm.
especially the weight of the trucks when there are so many of them going through.
because 13 and 119 are state,
Um,
and if it's town roads, It's way different.
Yeah, because if they,
We're looking at road damage.
yeah,
All of 13 isn't state, some of
Well,
it.
yeah, but I mean,
It's
one nineteen, you know,
Um,
if they take left on 119, that's better than Wallace.
And they will either go straight at 119 or they would turn left or right. But what I don't want them doing is cutting through. So the hearing is tomorrow night at 7.
I would encourage folks to go.
I have TA
You
screening
have a
committee.
thing already, which I was gonna come to, but I'm not.
You can just email me a public comment if
I
you'd like.
will email you a public comment and I'm gonna go to
Yeah.
this
okay,
because I have a concern about.
I share your concerns
that.
and you're happy to speak on behalf of the select board, I think.
yes, I have the same concern.
Do you have official, so if you can go to the meeting, you can also email Sabrina and I so that we can submit the comments back to the Mason Planning Board. So you can go both, you could also have comments as a
Isn't there
select board.
form in here?
There
Yeah.
likely is. You could likely fill out that form and then you could also go to the meeting. You could sort of go twofold if you wanted to.
Veronica, do you want a motion to act on our, to speak for us?
Yes.
I, Valerie Goodrich, would make a motion for Veronica Kell to attend the Mason Planning Board meeting regarding impact for, what is it, gravel?
Yeah, 1524 Brookline Road LLC proposing an 8-phase excavation site with likely passage through, you know, arteries of Townsend
Mm.
and high traffic spots.
To speak on behalf of the select board.
Second. Laura Schiffern, seconds.
I'll be happy to go to the hearing tomorrow night. That the other question is, what about the hours of operation? It's 7 AM to 5 PM, Monday through Saturday, with, they say, except up to 12 Sundays. You know, there are what, 52 Sundays in a year?
They're gonna try
So
to,
that's a third of the Sundays. Not a third, I said that wrong, a fifth.
yeah,
And that is, I mean, that's a problem too.
it's a lot of triaxles.
I am good with Monday through Friday, but I'm not good with Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
So I was gonna add that to my comment as
That's
well.
okay.
You'll want to fight hard for that, having had this happen in my own little town where,
Pepperell went through something like this too
yeah, so
recently.
we ended up saying Pepperell can't use our roads.
Mhm.
For, this was to put the green line landfill basically
Mhm.
on the airport parcel in town. And it gets really dicey, like
I think they kiboshed the whole thing
they did,
eventually.
Did they say no? Can we
Yes.
say, no, you can't use our roads?
we said no.
I mean,
We said, find another alternative, and they said, we'll go up 495, up 119 into Pepperell that way. And then the project ended up being too long of a route, and I think it fell asleep.
Okay, so I'm gonna add then, is there another alternative? They could go down 31, they could go the other way
Mhm.
and go
but the other
down
way is
31.
to 101, yeah.
When they could do 101.
Just
Yeah,
spots.
important to note that this is considered a freight corridor here.
Mhm.
I don't know if that works against us in this scenario. Just
I have
something,
no idea.
neither do I, but
No, but you can make our concerns known.
Yeah.
What happens if they damage the roads?
it's just considered wear and tear. You'd have to have
That's
hard,
normal wear and tear.
you'd have to have hard evidence of it. It'd
But
be like,
it's not normal wear and tear to have that many trucks go at the same time for that long every single day for how many months? Oh,
it's
for 10 years.
10 years.
10 years.
No, it's not normal.
An average,
I agree with you, but
and will range anywhere from 0 to 50 out trips per day, with an average of 20 out trips per day.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
it's a
And what
big,
does that do to the climate?
our Earth
Or
Day
the
friends
air
would
that
not be
we
happy.
breathe? Just checking.
And anyway, so
I
I
think the-
brought the map.
Okay.
Yeah.
The map is good. If you can send me the map, just so I can put it on the Facebook site, maybe I can do that late tonight to say if you're interested in attending this hearing.
Yeah.
Very good.
This could be-
Especially
This could be
over
a
if
good
you're-
one for,
If you're North
Or
End
the
Road
lake.
or anywhere up there, because I'm over on that section of town, you probably are gonna be able to hear it too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's gonna be the breaks,
Mm.
Well,
the,
not,
Yeah,
it's just
right,
the gravel grinding, the whole, because they're making gravel. Yeah, the whole
Aggregate,
shebang.
yeah.
well, in
So
any event,
residents might want to come.
I would say this would be a good thing to put onto old business for next meeting or a meeting after once you've had a chance to
Just-
collect thoughts from that meeting tomorrow night.
Okay,
so I
Just
will
as a
send the
report.
map to
That
you.
would be great. And the link, yeah.
And do you want my comments before or after I go tomorrow? Do you want them tonight as well?
No, so I just want to put the, if I can, I'll do it while we're sitting here. Later on, I'll post it on Facebook and say, here's the,
That's
you know,
the map.
here's the
That's
map
not
and here's why you should go. Here's the link to why you should attend this. You know, as discussed on 3/24. And then hopefully people click it and like it and go to the link and see why it's important. So
Okay, that's a good idea.
something other than the usual news I post. So nice. You're
We need to take a
activating.
vote though. To
I
allow her
was
to-
waiting.
Absolutely.
Are we, any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote,
Veronica Cal, aye.
How good a try.
and Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you, Veronica, for doing that.
Fight the good fight.
Yeah.
Try.
5.5. I believe this is valid.
This, what do you mean? 1 second, I just got locked on my computer for some unknown reason.
It
So,
says select board online comment request due 3/25/2026. Regional impact legal notice. I think that's the one that we have to fill out.
Yeah. But that's not in the SharePoint, but
It's not?
I didn't think so.
5.5?
I thought I saw the form, there, but there was stuff, it might have been an attachment, there was some folders I got into with, and nothing was there, so I don't know.
Okay, I know it's online. I looked at the stuff online, so I know it's in,
Okay.
in Mason NH
Yeah.
/ planning dashboard. So, okay,
This is, yeah, so we'll figure that out. Yeah.
okay, okay.
Okay,
We're good.
Yeah.
5.5.
5.5,
okay, so I met with our mentor consultant TA. I brought a whole bunch of town administrative job descriptions from our comparable towns, job vacancy postings. Just to get feedback on, you know, your TA looking through job descriptions, what are you looking for, what are you not looking for? And I didn't change a bunch of stuff in the job description. I just made it a little more efficient, like nipped and tucked some of the like repetitive grammar in a couple places.
Can I say something
Yeah, of
about
course.
that? All right, so job descriptions, when we did the Collins report, all of those we made standard. And all of that language that you're nipping and
Yeah.
tucking came from the Collins Center.
So I didn't change any of the categories. Like I didn't change the outline structure of it. Like it still has the skills.
Mhm.
It was just more like, there was like, so this was 3 paragraphs in the beginning. And often it was like the same thing repeated
Yes.
on 3 different lines. So I was like, gosh, I don't want to start off someone by being like, I'm reading the same thing 3 times through. It's kind of a little off-putting. So, but I'll go back to it. And I didn't, and it was just little, like, making an efficient, like putting 2 points together in a sentence. I'm happy.
Okay, I guess I understand.
Yeah.
But I guess my comment on this, my concern is that what I see happening is we're moving away from that. And that's okay if we're gonna be updating all the job descriptions to follow the same similar language. We've already gotten away from we had a wage matrix that because of everything that happened last year, I don't even know what
Out the door.
yeah, what shape it's in. And as things so we had everything cohesive and it moved along and it applied to everybody. Now we've got this one and that one and this one and that one. And we could talk about this when we talk about other things, but I have a concern about things becoming non-standard across positions, things like that.
So this was changed a couple times since the Collins.
Oh, yeah, it has been
So-
because we've had several TAs since the call.
So this isn't what, Like the version I had was a PDF
Jan's
that,
number 5 for me.
yeah. Yeah, so the version I had was a PDF
five.
that had more stuff written on it from other people that was then incorporated
Yeah,
the last time around. So that's why I wanted to,
I don't, that's just the point I want to make.
Yeah.
Things are becoming non-standard. And then it becomes difficult, more difficult. So when you have one person that's on this and one person on that, and my job description says this and my job description says that, and you have to sign off on them with the unions and blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
And I'm just making people
Yeah.
aware.
and that,
it's a
the one thing I
problem.
did,
I think it's a problem.
the thing that I wanted to keep was the, here, if you can scroll down a little bit.
Sure.
So just basically like, all I pretty much did was instead of a sentence that said the TA will be responsible for these financial, I just said financial management.
Mhm.
And then I kept this pretty much exactly the same. Again, if there was like 2 points that said the same thing, I might have brought them, but it's still the same number. The only thing I added in here was I added in, can you go to a little point C there, 3C? Pursue grant donation, alternative funding sources, and provide the board on their relations to goals, because we're getting rid of the grant position pretty much. And that's gonna be a responsibility. It was already in there, the grants, it already says taxes, fees, and grants, but that pursue grant donation and alternative funding sources was common in a bunch of TA job descriptions. What do people think about that?
I think that in Townsend, the TA has enough to do without also doing that. That's what I think.
Mhm.
Other than that, it's fine.
So is each department gonna be responsible for obtaining their own grants?
That becomes a,
So
I can answer that question. if you
I
like.
think you should.
So I think that, you have some departments, and because I have our police chief in the room where he knows a lane that he can apply for specific grants that are truly like, whether it be radios, bulletproof vests,
Fire's the same.
it's really specific channels to benefit his department, their department. And they're gonna know much better than any TA, unless the TA was a police chief or a fire chief, for how to apply for those grants and when they come up. And there's even a world that they may have some of the admin support to actually get some of that done. To Veronica's point, a TA overseeing, sort of the functions of this building, they could work with a conservation agent or, the treasurer to say, hey, this is a good grant for us to apply for. Let's work together. And then the TA signs off on it to apply for it. And then if you're awarded the grant, they hand it back to the treasurer to say, you're responsible for the reporting, the activation, and then the closeout of this grant. So I think there's a little bit of collaboration that can occur.
So
there.
if you go back up to that just a little bit so I can see it. So maybe a more appropriate sentence would be help to coordinate. Do you understand what I'm trying to go for? Or oversee?
So I would get rid of the first sentence. I would just say pursue grants, donations, and alternative funding sources, and share the progress with the select board on relations to goals, as well as their long-term impacts on sustainability, working with internal departments to decide the best paths forward for grant obtainment.
Can you type that in? Because that sounded perfect. I guess it's okay.
So I just shoot off the cuff sometimes.
I agree with that.
I get the
Yeah.
gist.
I can agree to that.
Because I don't think a TA, I'm only gonna, I'll share with you if I miss on a couple. But you don't need to know the day-to-day that I applied for an AAFP
No, of
grant
course
for you
not.
guys, it just doesn't help your decision-making as the executive officers of the town.
No.
And sometimes there's grants that you just take a shot on and you win and you're like, this is a great story to tell, but it's $1,000.
And there was actually,
It may not move the
And,
needle.
and I don't want it to be the TA's job to say, oh, here's a grant that the senior center should apply for, or here's a grant that land use should apply for.
But
It
if they can
really
help to
needs be
coordinate
the-
that
The
in any
department
regard,
head stepping up.
Yeah,
I mean, the TA might
pass it
find
along.
something, you know,
Yeah.
but in general, it goes back to the department heads who have to be looking out for it. The MVP grants, the,
Mhm.
you know, whatever they are, all in one place grants, all of that stuff.
yeah,
The department heads need to be.
And some of them already
involved.
do, like you mentioned, police, fire, I know library does,
Mhm,
so
yeah.
all those groups.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll update that wording a little bit. And then D, I don't know why this wasn't in there. This was about long-range financial planning, prepare and present a long-range financial outlook during the presentation of the annual town budget.
well, the annual town budget's not the time to be, the presentation of the annual budget is not the time to be presenting projections. The annual town budget's the upcoming
Yeah.
fiscal year.
So this could be, you know, long-range financial outlook during, this would be the fall meeting that we do.
Isn't that,
It's two different things,
It
really.
is, but usually it's part of the packet that we give at town meeting. It used to be.
a long time ago? There hasn't, since I became a selectman,
It's been missing.
it's been missing.
So what I'm
And
saying
it
is
wasn't
that
the select.
how do we get it?
boards.
it got dropped somehow.
So I would say you'd have a D and then what's after D? E, F, A, B, C, D, E, F. So you'd have D would be prepare and present the annual town budget.
Mhm.
And then,
Prepare is that a long-range financial outlook?
right, then, and it's not even an outlook, it should be projections for the future years ahead, something to that
And this
effect. So
is-
it's at least a 3-year projection.
Yeah.
Because any more than that's irrelevant, but any less than that isn't helpful.
Yeah, and I just went to DLS training today and they have like tools for 5-year projections that are free. Got them all today, so. But so I'll add, so. Okay. Separate.
The thing about all those free tools is, if you're the driver of them, great, but someone has to go and get them and drive it and do the work. That's the problem with the quote unquote.
So this was, I'll update it in my little
Excellent.
comment in the end. Okay, and so added E. Establishment, I think like this is all already baked into there. So then, okay, personnel management, I need you guys' feedback on this too.
If I can say on 4, like, I love bullets, but as someone who looks at job applications and is it going your intern, it's too many bullets. Like, it should be established an administrator program of expenditure control, serve as chief procurement officer under Massachusetts General Law 30B. That's it.
But here's the thing, the select board determines who the chief procurement officer is. And it isn't always the TA. Typically, it is, but it's assigned by the select board. Should that be, in the description that way? Because that then sets an expectation that you are named as the chief procurement officer. And we could have,
It could be your treasurer collector.
it could, right, if there were ever a financial team as such, it could make sense that that person be. So I don't.
That was, I did remove, there was section number A there was an entire paragraph on how the TA is to, like, basically review every single package that goes into every department, and I was like, wow, it was a whole thing that I know wasn't being done.
I would say something more on the capability to serve as a procurement or to know procurement law under something like that.
And really, again, back to your department head, like, your department heads should be the first line of negotiation, for purchasing contracts. Like, I'll use highway, like, they can discuss the merits of what the salt
So that-
cost might be better than the TA.
That's
can.
why I just said provide leadership and guidance, because before it was literally, you guys can go look at the past one. It was like, you're in charge of purchasing everything. And I was like, oh, that's not how it actually goes.
Yeah,
So I think that was more along the lines of a future select board was like, hey, we need to go through in all of our supplies, be coordinated or anything. First,
Done for you.
personnel management. Most of this was already in there. 5 and 6 were really common in other job descriptions in comparable towns. And I don't know if it's something we need to put in there or not, based on the current budget outlook.
I would read that in there.
I thought we probably needed.
Because it has that delegating, they're allowed to delegate.
I made
Yeah,
sure
the
to put that in.
delegation of things is
And
important.
so.
I tried to
as long as that's in there. I
put that in there a little bit more.
It was one of those that I wanted to.
And that might be an overarching theme of delegate with board approval when called upon or when necessary, something to that effect. Might be like just sort of a broad stroke that's important.
I would change number 2, this is the performance reviews, to say provide for regular performance reviews and appraisals for town employees. Because I don't see the TA, I see the TA writing department head reviews,
Yes,
but not for. And
Again, this is
department
a
heads
delegation.
For writing reviews.
Yeah.
But where does it say delegation?
yep,
I would just say provide for, however, just provide for regular performance reviews.
C was pretty much exactly what was in there previously. Want to keep going? Can you go down a little bit more?
We go down to the collective bargaining?
Oh, sorry.
Tell me what you're talking about in A.
It might have been what was already in there before, I think it was. Work with town boards and departments to prepare a coordinated strategy for and an integrated approach to collective bargaining. That would be working with
The
the
select
police
board.
chief, right?
Right.
And select board. This was in there.
Yeah,
And also, so I will say this, just because I did it today. So a lot of towns in their fall financial forecast, they bring in union rep to hear that forecasting for what it's gonna be like for the next
that's
5
not a
years.
bad idea.
And so that kind of helps to coordinate everybody and put them on the same page for all unions. To kind of know where the town's coming from. But I mean, I can take that.
I would change that to say prepare a coordinated strategy for and an integrated approach to collective bargaining, including town boards and departments where appropriate or something like that.
Yeah.
Or working with town boards and departments as necessary or as needed or something like that.
I got that. So then the qualification skills, all that fun stuff. I did try and keep the categories the same as the other jobs in town. A lot of people kind of combine the knowledgeability and skills, but I know that's how we do it. One thing I did flip around based on every other comparable was bachelor's degree and a master's preferred. It was the other way around, but every other one I found, every job description or comparable towns, it was flipped, bachelor's, master's preferred. So I just flipped those two, and that kind of syncs up with our charter
Yes.
in that order. The rest, like I said, I kind of just, I didn't change any of the meanings, just got rid of
Back that
repeating
up 1
sentences.
minute, back it up to, let me just see. Okay, the last sentence there, Massachusetts Certified Public Purchasing Official Designation. That kind of ties in with the one that I was talking about before, but I would want it current because that was interpreted as, yeah, I just had it once and I've let it lapse.
Yeah. Or ability,
Yeah.
so it should be ability to. Massachusetts, or.
I think a lot of them say current MC, PPO, or ability to obtain within 1 year. That's what a lot of.
That's what I would
Okay.
use. Because if you let it lapse, you have to take the whole series of courses
Yeah.
and the exam again. You can't just renew it.
Yeah, so most
Um,
of them did say, I remember exactly, actually, I put MCPPO, current MCPPO designation or ability to obtain within 1 year.
Yes.
Then I think in the only one that I really changed in knowledge, ability, and skills is ability. Particularly, it was really, really wordy, and I just wanted to put that last sentence there. Ability to prioritize and manage multiple tasks, delegating authority efficiently to evaluate and control the administration of town programs. Because that's a very similar sentence in a lot of things, and just that whole part of being able to delegate and prioritize. Because I think that that's kind of gotten lost a little bit in some of the candidates we've had, so. And that was, and the skills, I also just, I made it a little more succinct than. Is it? The rest of it is kind of the template that was used previously. Oh, one last thing here, sorry. Additional town charter requirements. There was another sentence that said, shall not have served an elected position in town, capital T means Townsend government for at least 12 months before. And then it had an additional sentence that said, will not serve on any board or public position. And that was not in our charter. It just said no Townsend positions. And I mean, if we hired a town administrator who was from, Chelmsford, and they were on their playground committee, I would be fine with that. I don't think we should prevent them from serving on any other board in a different town. But that's just my, it was in the last one. It was, because that is what's in the charter, but then there was an additional sentence in the previous description.
Do they mean in Townsend, town government?
Yeah, and that's what's in our charter, exactly like that. Townsend. It's
that's-
capital T, which
Yeah.
means Townsend.
That's one of those ones in the charter that you should call out, because it is a little ambiguous. As someone who is both an elected person in their town and also serving as your interim town administrator, your town council's opinion was it is Townsend,
Yes,
but it's.
'Cause I got
you could
Adam's
argue- you could
opinion on
teeter
that.
Either side of that.
I got Adam's opinion on
Depends
that
if you
before we
really-
appointed the interim,
In,
and he said because it's capital T,
it
It's
means
Townsend.
Townsend, but I would still put town of Townsend government
Okay.
for at least 12 months.
Yeah, clear.
before.
Then it's clear.
okay, I can do that. That's the addition.
You may also, and maybe I missed this. So as someone who is your intern, but also a licensed Massachusetts and New Hampshire Realtor, you'd want to call out that someone's allowed to have with board approval a secondary source of income, or, be a teacher, be a soccer coach, be a realtor, whatever it might be, because depending on how the applicants shake out, you'd want to have that either called out or that person, you can't do both.
Mhm.
Some towns say you can't. And they pay as such so that they can
Mhm.
relieve that other need for income. But you do want to specify that within,
I should ask Jane if that's a contracted job description thing though.
Yeah,
It's probably,
yeah.
some places have it in their job descriptions. But a good question for town council labor side, so.
So if that's in the contract for, is the TA on the municipal employee list,
No,
special,
special municipal employee?
it is not.
Yeah.
But I think it's been handled in contracts generally,
generally
Probably.
speaking.
in the town.
Yeah,
Okay,
It's non-union. Wouldn't have anything to do with union.
so then, do you want to bring up the vacancy posting? I found a few grammatical errors I'll fix here, but, it's pretty straightforward. Nice little blurb about how awesome we are. The other TAs I talked to said short and sweet on this one. It was a good page and a half last time. And I was like,
Yeah,
insert link to the job description. If someone doesn't read it, well, they should have read it. So I'll just, once we upload the new job description website, I can put that in there. The recommended minimum qualifications I took right from the job
Update
description.
that PTO thing.
Yeah, I'll fix the PTO thing. Vacancy. Thanks.
Is that the 140 to 180, so that is for the total package?
Yeah. And then,
When, I just want it clear that that's inclusive of,
The benefits.
yeah.
let me see, I think most, yeah, I'll take a look at that.
Well, if you're thinking of benefits as healthcare.
So you don't want to.
That's separate. But if you're thinking of things like auto allowances and all, that is
But-
inclusive within that 140 to 180. That's salary and, what do you call those?
Incidentals.
And incidentals, yeah.
Let me see what the other ones,
Training
let me
and-
see what the other ones say about that.
Yeah, because we don't have it budgeted for beyond salary.
Mhm.
And so if in fact there's some other thing that they want, like an auto allowance, which is a pretty standard one, or training, or particular.
Yeah.
You know.
Community relationship,
conferences.
yeah, community relationship building, things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that has to be
Mhm.
within that salary range. And
So
people
I
need
can-
to understand
Let
that.
me just, I might be able to sneak some wording from Jane on just a couple things
Do
like that.
you anywhere in there put the hours of the, the expected,
So-
or is that all in?
That, almost no one declares the hours on this job anymore.
I see full-time,
I mean, it's up there full-time. It's kind of
I mean, it's a
30
salary
to
position,
80
really.
hours per week.
30 to
30 to 40. But yeah,
40 to 80.
Yeah. I'm not kidding.
I know. So, I mean, I probably would take out the 30, to be honest with you, and just put.
so I would take out the hours per week
I
Yeah.
would too.
It's a
because,
salary position with a job description
Yeah.
and
well, it's also like, in some cases, a
Someone's gonna
TA,
hold it against us later.
they may not, they may quite literally clock hit
Yeah.
39.59
We had
minutes and be
one.
like,
Out of there. Yeah, so yeah,
good.
take that out.
and
Okay. Oh, last thing on this, scroll down a little bit, Karen, I'm sorry. Going back and forth, back and forth. I could take these on behalf of the screening committee, or we can have Sabrina take them. It's up to you guys. I don't wanna put,
what's the question?
do you want me to take these on behalf of the screening
No.
committee or Sabrina?
Sabrina.
Okay, that's fine. And
I
are
would-
people okay with the last line there? Position to remain open till filled, submissions reviewed as received. We could do everything's gonna be reviewed in a month, or we can just start there and change it if we need to.
I think start there and see how it goes.
When you say 3 references, are you looking for names and contact information, or are you looking for letters? Or both,
Could be either of the above.
however they interpret it?
the one catch there is like a person may have to ask their current employer,
Right.
and that jeopardizes their employment
Yeah.
status, especially in budget season within other municipal
Yeah.
governments.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised that someone, like, I would put it on my own cover letter,
Yeah.
like, I'll give you the references once you invite me in for an
That's,
interview.
that's fine. But
Just because I don't want to risk,
Well, and I
it's a
think- I
risk
think-
aversion, so.
I'm speaking for myself, not the screening committee. I think any of us would take that as
Yeah.
into consideration. It's just, this is the guidance. To be honest with you, I'm more interested in someone following the instructions and saying it to me as one PDF instead of 5 documents.
That too. That
For
too is a
reading.
fun,
Mhm.
that's like,
Yeah.
doing multiple documents across things.
Yeah, so,
What about the town employment application?
so
Are you expecting that to be filled out?
I
or
would
not?
I would expect it to be filled out at some point in time. It has to be.
Right,
We didn't have it in the last one. It could be a request. Once you get to that, moving on to the select board, please fill out
okay, all right.
if that's okay. Because it's like just the 1 page employee application.
Yeah, and this is, you do want
I don't wanna, I'm encouraging people to apply.
to, yeah, so I would probably put a link here then to the human resource page.
Yeah.
That has other links to benefit packages and like Blue Cross Blue Shield, the retirement, who we're a part of. Also the catches that, you're gonna take a drug test, there's a physical. Things that like nowadays are making people pause for what it's worth. Just to throw that out there.
So,
And they know there's gonna be a Cory check.
I probably need some motions on this, so we can get the job description changed and.
So
Postings?
you're saying remain open until filled, so this is not seeking after like a month, if you don't get anything, you're not gonna go to FinCom and say, I need $20,000 for, or $10,000 for MRI to do a search for us. You're sort of closing that.
I
door
would
then.
come back to the select board
Okay.
at that point in time and say, we need help
Okay,
and we need to, and at that point, I think you're almost kind of starting from scratch in some ways if you're gonna hire somebody, so. I look at this as step one based on this board's guidance, and then come back for step two if necessary.
I think it's a good start.
yeah.
All right, so,
Is there a motion?
Veronica Cal, I make a motion to, accept the job description and, the,
Job vacancy,
job vacancy, is that what we're gonna call it? The,
job vacancy posting.
the job vacancy posting, with the discussed,
Edits.
changes. And for it to be posted within the next 2 weeks.
As soon as possible.
I'll work
ASAP.
with,
I was just
I'll work
gonna
with,
say ASAP.
I'll work with Sabrina once I get it changed
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. As soon as possible.
and get it
Yeah.
submitted to the town clerk vacancy posting. whole thing.
Yes,
All right.
Okay, go through the official processes.
So does that mean it's posted internally first?
yeah. That's my
You'll also
guess.
need to get FinCom approval for this,
Why?
Of the posting?
because
It's a vacancy.
it's a vacancy, you have a hiring freeze.
Yeah, but they're in on
Well-
it from the beginning.
I
As of
disagree with
January.
that because we don't have a vacancy. You're in the position. So that's a little
contracted
bit
date.
different.
I'm just saying, like, we've had every single, like, even grant funded positions get approval from FinCom to go up.
We can do it.
Yeah,
I would
all right.
it's just having that be a part of the puzzle,
Okay.
When are they meeting again?
I think next Tuesday.
Okay.
Have it.
So I'll have it all
Have
ready
it
to go
ready.
Tuesday night.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I believe that's when they're meeting again, just because I think that would just be a good,
Yeah,
Then
absolutely.
I'm gonna modify it to have it reviewed by FinCom and posted within 2 weeks of today.
Okay, because it's to the town's benefit that we do this as soon as possible.
I agree.
it is,
I can't see why they would have an objection, especially
I'm
since
gonna give you a
they've known
date.
at every meeting
yeah. I
what
think
we're
it's just,
doing.
yeah, I think it's just making, because
We've asked for recommendations in every other
Yeah.
position.
yeah, it's just sort of a good, cover our bases type of situation, so.
Okay, yep.
All right, so.
So sorry I took a while on that. I think that was probably the most important.
Do we need a
thing.
new motion?
Very well done.
Veronica Cal, I move that we, post the job description and, job vacancy posting as edited, after review by the finance committee by, Wednesday, the 25th, and have it posted by, no, not Wednesday, April 1st. No, the
Is when are
31st.
they meeting?
When are they meeting?
I think it's next Tuesday.
The
That's the
31st.
31st.
Reviewed by April 1st by the FinCom and posted by Friday, the 3rd.
Okay,
Seconded.
okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
And Laura Schiffern, aye. Thank you. everybody
Thank
very
you to
much.
the committee and to you, Valerie.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Good job. 5.6. Is there a motion?
I, Valerie Goodrich, move to approve the renewal of 2026 MJS Metals junk dealer license, MJS Metals through May 1st, 2027.
And it's yearly. Is there a second?
Veronica Cal, second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
And Laura Schiffern, aye. 5.7. Veronica.
So this is affordable housing. I didn't know if we were gonna do this as a,
I wanted a
Item,
report.
but the report is, we are updating our, the RFP for the property on Haynes Road is going to be posted as
By end of the week.
by the end of the week.
Yep.
We
Okay.
did learn last night that there is town water that goes as far as Trophy Ave.
Mhm.
So that property could in fact tap into town water if they so chose.
Mhm.
They would have to, whoever the person who winds up
Yeah.
bidding and winning the bid would have to investigate that. So, so there's that. So that's going up. Forestry, not until next year. We don't expect that it will happen until the next fiscal year.
Yeah, we were late on the schedule with the harvesting group. And there, it sounds like they'll be visiting with us in probably early fall to set the date. And they'll notify butters, and once we get into the cold season and the migratory birds have shifted off, they'll go in and do their selective cutting for those
We-
parcels.
South Row Road is priority habitat,
Mhm.
and so there are dates during which it can only be performed. So we expect that will be next year. We've updated for FY 27 to have South Row Road and the larger Haynes Road parcel forest cut. We did find out that because the town water goes to Trophy, there's a possibility that we could get town water up on that big parcel for Wallace Hill. So we wanted to do a smaller project first, so we voted to stay with that,
Yeah.
with Blood Road. For the small property on Haynes Road, RFP for sale. Dudley Road, that's such an awkward piece of property, so that's just sitting there, pushed off, and it has a lot of constraints, environmental constraints. It's really interesting. Blood Road, the two Blood Road, West Elm properties, RFP for development. We are going to wait to see what the RFP does.
Mhm.
Hopefully by the time of our next meeting, which is April 30th.
Yeah, hopefully we have some indicators.
And then we'll know whether we have funds and can go out to get the
Mhm.
whole 9 yards as far as support goes to get eventually an RFP out. According to Mass Housing, the best time for an RFP for the type of development we want to do is August, September timeframe. And so we would like to make that window, but that could be pushing it for this year. I don't know. The wetlands delineation that was done out there was done 2 years ago in May. A wetlands delineation is good for 3 years. So if we don't get an RFP out and get things rolling, our wetland delineation will have to be done again
Mhm.
to update. It's really an update, not a full, but
Yeah,
in any event. Okay, so the other thing is, and this isn't really a trust issue, but it's a town issue. Atwood Acres, the HUD loan is paid off in 2029, which means that that property is no longer required to be affordable. And it really depends on what happens there, whether or not we still have affordable units at Atwood Acres. So it was a HUD loan,
Yeah.
and that HUD loan is paid off in 2029. Other Massachusetts developments in the same situation have gone market rate. And so if in fact that's gonna happen, it would happen in 2029. And it's really the housing authority that is in charge of looking at that.
Right,
And then that's not the housing trust. And so it's up to the housing authority to do something with that, even to, I mean, as a housing trust, I really, or we, the whole trust, we really don't have any standing to call them and say, so what are you
Yeah,
doing with
yeah.
this?
Yeah,
You know, not our place. It's really the housing authority's place to do that.
so the loan, the HUD loan is paid off in 29. RCAP is in charge of that building.
That is correct.
Will that continue?
I don't know what the agreement is with RCAP. I don't know. I wasn't on the housing authority. You,
I was.
however, were. And I don't know how that
who owns
was.
the building? It's MCO, right? Is it MCO? It's not, Townsend doesn't own the building, right?
No, we did not.
Yeah, so it's really between RCAP, HUD, and whoever owns the building, which I think is MCO Properties, right?
I believe that's.
Yeah.
Which is the state.
No, MCO is a
No.
private affordable housing group.
So it's, I just think someone should be advocating for keeping that affordable. And sometimes there has to be some work done to keep it that way. It really depends.
Yeah,
Well, we had no, the housing authority was having an issue with RCAP. This goes back, Kathy was still here, so maybe 10 years.
Probably, yeah.
And Kathy and I were both on the board, so it wasn't.
Kathy Arujo, you're
Kathy
talking about,
Arujo,
yeah.
Yeah. And along with, Bill from the telephone company, the veteran. His name is escaping me. He was on it and, Greg Galiotto was on it. We were all on the board. And so we did the meetings. After a few meetings with RCAP, we saw that they were thinking we were just a rubber stamp when we had questions, when we would get complaints from residents, and we had nowhere to turn. We went to HUD, we went to directly and got just ignored. Residents got ignored. After that meeting where we brought up all this stuff, they never held another meeting again. They never held another meeting again where we had to be there once or twice a year. You know, we would go, but there was an annual where stuff had to be done. And we were no longer needed there to do the votes. So we got nowhere. I'm not sure, I mean, all we have there are the 50 units counting towards our affordable percentage that the town needs.
SHI, yeah.
Okay, so and Townsend Woods was 36, so that's got longer ways to go, but
Townsend Woods is under a different,
Management.
different management, different financing,
no, same management as RCAP.
but different financing, so.
Okay,
The different rules there, things change.
Well, that was the
between
last-
one that, yeah.
that was
yeah,
the
yeah.
last HUD 203 or whatever that was available. It was our third try, took us 7 years before that was built. But it was the last chance to get that funding. We got that funding, but I seriously don't know what it means.
Well, all I know is I keep seeing things that say it goes out of, it has the ability to no longer be affordable as of 2029. And what happens isn't really our call, but typically the town works with HUD and with RCAP and with MCO to do something to make sure that it remains as affordable units.
So do they own the land too?
I believe so.
MCO
Yeah.
owns it all. It's really actually their call. what they
It
do.
is,
It's not.
I never knew that to be a party that the town could talk to. And
I'm
maybe we
sure you
should.
can.
So I email with them because they'll be like, oh, we're increasing the rent. And they wanted to do that last year. And I think I brought it to your attention, I brought it to Nelson's attention, like, what do I do here? And I think we said, please don't raise the rent because utility costs are going up. They ended up doing it anyways, because they get to set the rent based on their.
That was MCO.
MCO, yeah, because they get to set it based on the state guidelines
Yeah,
that they get within the
Yeah.
RCAP.
yeah.
So, but there is a person we can reach out to there. To what purpose?
The purpose that I think is to say, hey, we'd really like this to remain affordable.
But they're gonna ask for something,
They probably are.
I guarantee it,
Well, we still own land.
but we don't.
The
know.
11 acres
We
around
own, we
it,
still own land.
the 11 acres that surrounds it, it's like a U
Yeah,
around that. And there's, on the one side, there's huge constraints. There is town water, that's the positive.
Yeah,
But on the left side, there is still constraints. So even to get a driveway in to build on that little bitty bit
Yeah.
in back is challenging.
yeah,
we
So,
tried for, that's where we tried for veterans housing.
yeah.
We worked on that for a long time.
yeah, and there was a possibility there, but that got shut down at town meeting, if I remember right.
Yes, it did.
And so, I just wanted to put that out there about Atwood Acres.
Okay.
Somebody should be paying attention to that.
Okay,
So that's that.
Alright,
We
future
will have opening, we're gonna post, we have one opening for a trustee, and we will need a different, select board rep after April 27th assigned. It has to be a select board member who's a trustee. So keep that in mind. And all resignations and appointments need to be filed at the registry of deeds. And
yeah,
Down.
because it's a trust. Yeah,
because of the trust.
yeah,
Middlesex,
it's a recorded.
and we typically do that once a year. Adam does that for us.
Yeah,
Oh, the Mylar is in my car for the, easement. It's ready to roll.
okay,
Of the water easement on Blood Road. So I will, everybody left too fast yesterday. It was 5:30 after all, but anyway, when I realized that, so I do have it in the car, and I'll get it to you to be given to Adam, so that that can get, put on the registry. But I would do it at the same time that we do the, changes to the board. So
Okay,
that's it. I don't think there's
Thank
anything
you.
else. Any questions? All right.
5.8 Town Properties Committee Report. Karen, can you screen share that?
I can, let's see here,
Saw that. Lovely, I saw that lovely little list.
Yeah,
which one would you like to start?
we're gonna use two motions. Why don't we do the conservation one? Well, we can, whatever.
Here is the conservation.
Okay, so, I'd like a motion for the transfer of these three properties to the Conservation Commission. Now, it was recommended by Conservation on June 25th, 2025. However, properties did not meet until, well, 2 or 3, within this last month anyway. So we actually didn't even know about this at our first meeting, or this would have been done before. So, it was confirmed with Colby that,
I remember when that was discussed in
Okay.
conservation, so.
Do we have a date for when Town Properties, agreed to this?
Was it last week?
Because
Town
I would
Properties?
do this per the recommendation of the Town Properties Committee on and the date.
Oh, it was, well, we met the 9th, and the 9th was our last meeting. And we approved those minutes, and that's when that was done.
Okay, so 3/9/2026.
We can verify that with, Sabrina in the minutes. Or Jody.
I move that the select board accept the recommendation of the town property committees on March 9th, 2026 to transfer the following properties to Conscom as voted at their June 25th meeting. Elm Street, 17105 off Worcester Road, 17660, and Riverbank Terrace, 18270.
Veronica Cal second.
Okay, and just for further discussion, I'll have Jody clarify the date on the motion made by the committee, okay?
Pending review of the date.
Okay, thank you. Roll call vote,
Veronica Cal aye.
Sally Gudichai.
and Laura Schiffern, aye. Okay, now the next one.
Okay, go ahead. So I have something to say about these.
Okay, so this list that was done, we reviewed each one, looking at the map. And basically, we approved these to go forward with a couple of questions. Those questions were answered yesterday by Vicky. And it was moved that all of these be put up for auction.
Okay, so I see wetlands and wetlands bog there. I know at the auction last year, we were told that all of those properties, by town properties, we were told that all of them were unbuildable. And that was not the case. And these went for really, really low prices, like 8K, 2K, 1K.
What?
And now
Which
houses are
properties?
going on them. The one over by the police station, the one at the corner of Highlands and Adams. And I can
That didn't
probably,
go
I can,
cheaply.
oh, yeah. Yeah. And if these are buildable lots, I want the auction price to start at a
Reasonably buildable lot price.
reasonably buildable
50K.
lot price. I was gonna say 75. I started with 100 in my head at home, but then I thought, oh, but we're selling the one on Haynes for 100. So maybe 75. I think 50 is low. But I was at that auction and I didn't think these were buildable. And then I started getting the calls saying, hey, how is it that a house is going on out there? Because I thought that these could not be built on.
I didn't think that the one on the corner of Dudley Road and 13 was not buildable.
Okay, Adams Road eventually went for 75K.
Correct.
I thought the one at Dudley was not. Let me see.
That's sandy soil with town water. Why would that be unbuildable?
Because it's
Sandy
wet
soil's the
right
dream.
there. And it's wet right there. There's a stream that goes right through. You wouldn't think that that would be buildable, and in fact it is. I thought it would be used for access to backland, but not the case. Let me see.
So essentially, you're just asking for,
For
Anything that can
Well,
be
we want
buildable.
highest and best.
yeah,
Of course.
we want highest and best in for any that can be buildable, so
To be priced accordingly.
to be
Okay,
priced
so those
accordingly
that you,
with a review by the building commissioner, basically.
Yeah.
Right, so I would like these reviewed by the building commissioner before the auction. I would like to know which ones could wind up with a building permit. And I would like a minimum amount for them. In other words, I would want them to start at 75. I might be talked into 50, but in any event, that's what I think. Because I think if we're selling buildable lots, we should sell them for buildable lot price.
the first thing that has to be, I think that that's a really good idea to have the building inspector give his opinion on all of these. And then the next step is for the auction house to make sure that their titles are clear, otherwise they won't take them or put them up, which we've had a couple of situations like that. And then,
Okay, go ahead. I'm looking at the one with DCR. Has anybody contacted DCR to see if they are interested in purchasing that? That's 9 acres and it abuts the DCR property. I would call DCR. And, you know, I don't know when they
think
do
it's
their land
landlocked.
things.
I think that was a landlocked one.
It is landlocked. So
I want to say that was mentioned.
has
to-
anybody checked
contacting the
with
vendors.
DCR?
About their butter. I want to say it was mentioned, I can't remember the answer, but we can find out.
Yeah.
The whole point on all of these is to get highest and best, I promise you, really.
The next to ambulance parking, do we want to get rid of that one? 0.15 acres, is that something that could be useful for the town? I didn't go to the meeting and I haven't watched any of the town properties meetings, so I'm just wondering what the conversations were.
Well, I mean,
It's being used for parking by others. Not by the fire station.
Does the fire station want it? Does the fire
I
department
don't know,
want it?
we didn't ask them, but we certainly could.
I think it would be a good idea to ask them. I mean, you could put up signage there, you know, there's ways to prevent that. Start ticketing the car that's parking there.
maybe that's our off-street parking.
Just have
rather
a
than on, Main Street
conversation
here.
with them.
Well, I was gonna say,
Yeah,
because where is it in relation, just
I mean,
visually?
it's more of an offline, like,
yeah,
let's-
I mean, I think there needs to be more work done on this, I guess is the bottom line on this list, in my opinion. That's what I think.
Have go to Bob Garside, and then you can ask the chief if he has any interest in the parking lot.
Or if we get that grant for the whole parking.
We were just
downtown
looking to
thing.
get money for the town
Not a bad
and
thing.
get it off our list.
Lines 22 and 23, I'm good with.
So are we
All
good?
of them are really throwing it up in the air and see what sticks.
The one on the
Yeah.
Warren Road, 11.94, that one, you could build a house on that, on the existing footprint
Mhm.
of the house that's there. This is the one that we had talked about in my last round of select board,
Mhm,
cutting off the back.
mhm.
Fish and Game was interested in buying it, and then we had set 5,000 aside in the budget to do any, survey work and offer it to,
fishing game.
we were gonna offer the back land to Fish and Game, that's what the survey was, and
But they
to
didn't want it.
get the, yeah, they did, actually.
So what happened?
What happened is I got off the board, nobody acted on this, and we were gonna offer the front part to Habitat for Humanity.
Oh.
As a project for the town for affordable housing. That was what we thought. But if we're going up for auction, given that you could build a bungalow on the existing footprint, it is a buildable lot and it's 11.94 acres.
With a
I
lot
would
of
not
trash
want
on it.
that sold. Yeah, there's a lot of work that has to be
Yeah.
done out there, but that work can be done. And I would not want it sold for $2,000,
Oh, it's gonna be
is what I'm saying. I would want it
But
to
it's-
start a whole lot higher than even the 75K that we've been
So
discussing.
we'll see what, Garside says, because that property, it would cost a lot to just get it all cleaned up. So you have to add that to the cost of the land.
Yeah, you do, but still,
Okay.
I mean, you could
Nothing mentioned
put a
nothing
whole
gained.
development in
You know,
there,
we'll try.
55 and over development. I don't know if there's water there though.
So
There's no
Um,
No, there's no
town
water there. It would have to be a well and septic.
But you could do a little development there, if you took a road in, and I've seen a whole lot.
do you want a motion to approve these except for? need it?
With the further investigation as, stated, knowing that we're looking for the highest and best.
I want to report back. I'm not just gonna say, hey, you can do this after you're, I want to report back.
Okay, we can.
And I would like that in our April what is it?
Seven.
Seventh meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll report back on this.
Okay.
That's me. And then,
Can you facilitate that, please?
sorry.
Okay, so the other two items that we addressed, just giving you information, is, the West Townsend Reading Room, which we can't put on the list. There is something about the title, and there's something about the use, and so that is being investigated.
There's an email into Adam right now checking on the deed
Right,
and if there's a reverter clause or not. And if there is no deed, what do we do?
I guess, okay, I guess the one on this list that I could vote for is the Hart Library. Without further investigation.
Yeah.
I mean, that's gonna cost money to dump it out too.
Yeah, I have a mask. The facilities manager said I need to go in there with a mask, so I'm already
Well-
sick, so I might as well go in there tomorrow and find out more, so.
let's do all of it at the same
What
time.
do I got to lose?
Okay, let's do all of them at the same time because they'll all be going on the annual town meeting. So when we vote on April 7th, hopefully we have all the information to answer your questions and it can go on the warrant. Okay,
Or at the very least, we can put, if there isn't enough information, you'll have make a smaller list
Mhm.
and, and put that forward.
okay, we'll see what happens on the 7th. Okay, so that's the reading room. That we discussed. Also, there's a property that's the old dump on Turnpike Road. And it was mentioned, but we found out differently, that there was a dump in Dunstable and Tingsboro that ended up with solar on it. So we talked about that, and it turns out that that is not owned by the town in Dunstable. So, but they did use it for that. So, Vicky's gonna look into that a little bit more about what we can do with that.
Okay, so I was on the committee that wrote the solar bylaw many, many years ago. Kathy Araujo was still with us. And there wasn't the poles needed to change. Unitil would not be able to support solar on that property.
I remember
A
that when we were with the
triple
library, 'cause we went
Oh.
to there and we said, could you do it over there? And they had to upgrade.
And so I don't know the status of that at this
But it
point.
probably was for that huge ice storm where they redid everything, maybe.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was after that,
It
yeah,
was,
December.
in the 2015, 2016,
Yeah.
2017 timeframe. That was the case. And I think it was the first round of select board, same thing. So if they did it, because quite frankly, we don't lose electricity like we used to in this town. So something has been happening with Unitil, something good. So, but I don't know if they're able to support it out there or not.
Okay, well, it's still on the list, so it's 10 years later, so let's see if anything else, maybe something is there that we can do.
Okay.
So anyway, so to be continued to the, move to April 7th meeting on 5.8. 5.9,
I have no updates or reports for you guys at this time. Other than we had a special town meeting that went, I think, decently on 3/19. And thank you for those that attended.
okay, 5.10, do we have any announcements?
Sorry. My bad. Nope.
We don't have any formal announcements. I will just mention about the positions available.
I may say we keep it moving because we have
I know,
Yeah.
4 high time executive session things,
right?
just to throw this in perspective for timing, so.
I wasn't gonna have a long list. I just wanna say we still have volunteer positions available as well as
Check with the town clerk.
some vacant elected positions. 5.11.
I move that I Valerie Goodrich move to review and sign payroll and bills payable warrants out of session.
Veronica Kell second.
Okay. No discussion, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Gooder,
Laura Schiffern, aye. 6.1, we discussed the annual meeting,
You will have these on 4/7.
4.7, move to 4.7.
Yes, ma'am.
6.2, does that also move to 4.7?
I think we did that last time.
Those are done. They've been reviewed by Adam. I will put them on the screen for you to look at. They've been
Okay.
handed to the town clerk.
I saw that.
You did get
It's just
the
like a
approval.
wording or two updated.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's actually-
I did not see Aaron's feedback.
I think it was just to basically match up with the charter language
Mhm.
for the first
Okay.
one.
So I can read them aloud. For ballot question 1, shall the town of Townsend, in accordance with the town of Townsend Charter, section 3-2, select board subsection A, composition and term office, ratify passage of Article 7 on the May 6, 2025 annual town meeting warrant, thus changing the composition of the select board from 3 to 5 members, provided that such 5-member board will have 3-year overlapping terms, so arranged that as nearly as an equal number of members as possible shall expire each year. Question 2, shall the town of Townsend be allowed to assess an additional $197,000 in real estate and personal property taxes for the purpose of funding wage and benefit obligations under the police department collective bargaining agreement for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2027?
Okay,
Okay.
do you need a motion to send it down to town clerk?
We did it last
It's
time.
already- we did it last
Oh,
time.
subject to the edits.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep. So
very good.
yeah.
6.3 fiscal year budget update, 27 budget update.
So I can share with you in a really succinct form, if you want to see the budget that still is reliant on free cash, much to the chagrin of our policies. Or I can do this in a much more detailed version on 4/7, but you know,
What's the bottom line?
bottom line is if you use, yeah, I'll show.
See the recap?
Yeah, I'll share this with you, because it's like a carrot. Oops,
Raise your hand.
there is my own hand. So recap, numbers for the operating had, come up a little bit because I missed the $10,000 in the landfill money. I put back some funds in the communication chunk to support some of the different obligations there. You still have your PEG access number here. That's going to actually drop down to 152-ish. That's about what they got from Comcast this past year. That'll balance out down below. Snow and ice is static at about 315. Hopefully it'll be just a smidge under. So those we've seen for a while. Important to note that capital stabilization will pay off the last payment of the cat loader, which is $31,100, which will leave you with about $14,000-ish left in capital stabilization. Just important to be mindful of that for future causes. In terms of revenue, ambulance receipts, PEG access will balance out. I am using $140,000 in free cash to balance your budget currently. Snow and ice at 315. I'm still playing around with some reductions here for scenario 1. I am still accounting for the 197 for the police and then the SRO. Important to note now with the police Article 4 passing at special town meeting, that those officers within the collective bargaining agreement will be looking at a 4% wage increase in the event that the override does not pass for fiscal year 27. So I will build that out in the next week or so. I've begun doing that based on the buckets we identified at special town meeting. So basically adding 4% to those. So currently you end up, we're plus about almost, $11,000. So maybe this, decreases the reduction over here. If you say you do want the webmaster, you do want to keep land use coordinator, trust housing expenses, things of that nature. I did move away these other reductions. I see your hand up, but I will come to it in just a moment. Important to note that with free cash, we did spend $47.50 at special town meeting. That was it for free cash. The other articles, legal counsel was not covered. Elections was not covered either. ClearGov was not covered. And that should be 140, but
Okay, so, that should increase it, but what I think is, I know that the 50,000 didn't pass at town meeting. However, what I heard said
Put it in the
was
budget.
that we need to put it in the budget, and whether it was put in a stabilization or not, those funds are needed.
Home for council.
For Labor Council, because we have all the work being done.
Same thing for elections.
Um,
Some degree
and
is needed.
so I think both of those things need to be, the elections, we just did the special town meeting to
Mhm.
consider that question, even though our town clerk said he was passing over it.
I think, and I've talked to Harrison about that, he might still do it because the wording is so different than what's needed, we might have to pass it over.
I think that we should incorporate it into the budget, both of those things.
And I
both
think
the-
Harrison and Kieran and I were supposed to connect on that afterwards.
Well, are
probably
we
got
gonna
lost in my
connect
mind.
on it now, because
Yeah.
this is a
Oh, yeah,
thing
of
for the
course.
Board of Selectmen, not a single person, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
So
Just to get his
anyway,
feedback
I
to bring
just
to you
wanna
guys, that was it.
say that I think that we need to put it, both of those, the election and the amount for council in the budget, because the good news on that is those are for one-time expenditures, yes, which is why you use free cash.
Mhm.
But they will come out for next year, because the following year,
Mhm.
we won't have all that, lobbying, whatever you wanna call it, to do
Election
Negotiation.
the
negotiations.
negotiations.
are different.
We will
Negotiations, yeah.
have
And we'll have
that.
less.
And we
also.
will have less elections. So
So
why not put it in the budget and
So-
use free cash for it?
I ended up increasing the town council number to 97.5,
Oh, that's good.
but I could keep going. Like we
I
were
would
at
keep
82.5 last year, so if you add 50K to it, you're at
130.
132.
So that means that's gonna come out of free cash. So really, free cash, we're gonna take.
We're
220.
already, yeah,
So you'd be essentially using, it's like you had two shots at it. So you had special
Okay.
town meeting. However, it's not a stabilization fund anymore. Now it's just any money that's unspent there, cross our fingers that we get lucky, goes back to free cash next year.
exactly, and doesn't have to be budgeted for FY 28.
Right.
And same for the elections.
Yeah.
And so in a way, it's a good use of free cash.
Oh, I got you on the record.
And if we're using free cash in the budget anyway, well, then let's use free cash in the budget.
Yeah, you know, it doesn't help
Because
us, yeah,
it's needed.
yeah, it doesn't help us with our policy and it
No,
still
it doesn't.
means, I think the town, you know, your town administrators really need to focus on projections in a product like a ClearGov or whatever it is to really figure out, like, how do you make this work at fiscal year 28 and 29? But, you know, we do know we have those union negotiations coming up and they are time consuming. I mean, it's an 8-hour day for Labor Council to sit here.
And it's not cheap.
And it's not cheap.
And anyway, so that's just what I have to say. I mean, if we're using free cash anyway, well,
Open the door.
it's we were throwing out the
Yeah,
So you're gonna
bathwater. And
balance
so
the
why
budget
not
with
just
free
go
cash.
for it? You know, if we
Yeah.
can't
well,
follow the rule of law, then let's do it.
okay.
Because it's needed. Where does that come from? Do we not negotiate with our labor council? And, you know, and we have a FinCom who says, why aren't we using, you know, we should be doing that.
Mhm.
And so it's needed.
I will input those into the different buckets and also input them into the free cash line. And, you know, I still think the reductions aren't a bad, you know, they're not FTEs, they're just sort of nipping and tucking here and there. You know, I do think,
I agree with putting those in.
yeah. So
Now, what's the TA at? What's the TA salary at?
180,
Okay, good, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no problem taking those things out.
okay,
I mean,
Yeah, it's only
you've
about-
accounted for them in the in the recap, so you might as well just put it in the budget and pull it out of the recap.
Yeah.
Make it real.
Okay. Yeah, I can just do that here, and then this will go up because the obligation will go up here. So I figure that's probably gonna go up about 100K, let's ballpark-ish, 70, maybe 50 plus 35, 85. Yeah, I'll play around with it and get you so you're balanced, so. And then happy to, share this with folks and catch up with FinCom at their next meeting to share it with them as well.
Okay.
And we take it from there. So,
Okay, so you're gonna meet with them next week.
yeah, I'm gonna try to get in front of them, and I did create a listserv for them so that I can email them information.
Okay,
One of the members said, our chair is a busy man. So I said, all right, if I send information to him, I don't want him to have to be solely responsible for forwarding it. So I know I have all their
good
emails
idea.
and I can just send everything to them. So they get it all at the same time, and, one person's available, one's not. It's not like someone's being, sort of slow walked by.
Can you share that just so I can send them the TA?
I'm gonna be the one who will send them information. Yeah,
Okay, the TA request probably shouldn't come. Should that come from the select board? I can just ask on that.
okay, yeah, I would keep it a really narrow
Yeah.
purpose,
yeah.
because I said this to them already, like, this is not for open.
No, this was
Dialogue.
just, I just wanted to put the TA job on the agenda for them to review
Okay,
the listing, the posting.
When you send it to the list, it's blind copy, right?
it is, but that doesn't mean that folks don't just take their phone and say reply back to just one person, and then it opens a can of worms. Risk reduction.
Yeah.
So that was your budget update.
Okay, awesome. 7, our next meetings are April 7th and April 21st, with times to be determined. And next, we are going into 4 executive sessions. And we will be adjourning from the executive sessions. I, Laura Schifrin, move to enter into and adjourn from executive session pursuant to open meeting law, chapter 30, section 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel or contract negotiations with non-union personnel. Police chief. 8.1, executive session pursuant to open meeting law, chapter 30A, section 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel or contract negotiations with non-union personnel. 8.2, executive session pursuant to open meeting law, chapter 30, section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining. If an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body, and the chair so declares, AFSCME Local 93, Clerical Union, Supervisors Union, Highway, Water Union, I, Laura Schifrin, so declare. 8.3, executive session pursuant to open meeting law, chapter 30A, section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body, and the chair so declares. Police union, I, Laura Schifrin, so declare. I have a second.
Seconded.
Do you need to add in, and we will be adjourning?
I
from-
did. That was in the beginning of the
Oh, it
motion.
was, okay.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
So,
Veronica Kellogg?
so you have 8.1, 8.2, 8.3. We have an 8.4.
I thought you read.
She read them all.
Okay, I'm just looking at the motions. You only have 3 motions there.
Oh, did you not read it?
I did police union,
I heard you
You
do
did
I
police
did
chief,
the highway and
non-union.
water.
Non-union?
I did the non-union, which was all 3 of those things, and
Police chief?
I thought you.
I did the non-union personnel. Something this, you know what?
There isn't a number in front. It should
It's
have
just-
been,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
there
right,
isn't a
you were right.
number in one of them.
yeah. So for those listening at home, it was
It was 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, and 8.4.
correct. Yeah, the number of convention is 8.1 is for police chief. 8.2 is for non-union personnel. 8.3 is for ASME Local 93 Clerical Union, Supervisors Union, Highway Water Union. 8.4 is for the police union. Our motions that we were transcribing just had a typo in them, so Ms. Schifrin read them correctly, but we just had our number sequence was a bit off for those listening. So.
Okay, with that clarification, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Veronica Chai.
Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you all very much. It's 7:35 and we are adjourned.
Thank you, TCAM. We will not be returning.
The recording has stopped.
Enjoy.
Sure.
It's okay with you?
Okay. The recording has stopped on their end, not on my end, okay? Excuse me, we're still here. I'm going to do a little bit of a recap. That was kind of a lengthy meeting. Let's see what my notes are here on the live chat. Yeah, I was kind of ranting, wasn't I? Oh yeah, this is interesting. Let me go back to the beginning of my comments. All right, they were talking about, Veronica was talking about making sure that employees were doing disclosures if they had a family member working in the same department. That's a no. You can't, the select board cannot, they don't have the authority in any way. In fact, it's probably harassment. They can't order any employee or any person to do a disclosure. That's up to the employee, that if they have something to disclose, if they have a conflict, they need to disclose it. And then the select board may vote to say it's fine or something like that. But the employee, it's up to them on whether or not there's a conflict. If they do have one and they ignore it and they just violate ethics, then it's on the employee. The town can't get out from under it. What the employee should do, and you can't tell them to do this either, but I advise anybody, if you got any of these weird things, the employee who may have a conflict should call ethics, the hotline, before they do anything. They can be appointed already, just don't do anything. Like, don't do anything with your job related to the conflict without calling the ethics hotline and saying, here's my situation, I'm hearing it doesn't sound good, so what's the deal here? And they're very nice, they'll help you out. Just do that. That's what you have to do. Okay, it's not a big deal, and they'll tell you whether or not you ought to do a disclosure, or if one doesn't make sense, and they'll tell you what your obligations are and that kind of stuff. Okay, now let's move on to the Mason Planning Board. This is really interesting. I looked this up. I'm not going to I'm going to get this down. I'm not going to pull up what the Mason Planning Board has. I might do that on another day, because this is going to carry on for years. So I still have time. I may do a video on this in the future, because it hasn't started yet. It's not going to start right away. It's going to start soon. The town of Mason has got this major the dredging something, but they've got this major project, and they're going to be moving granite. I don't know what they're moving. I have to reread all the documents, but it's on the Mason, New Hampshire Planning Board's site, website. If you want to look this up yourself, and if you have concerns, I suggest you do that. They're having a meeting, a public hearing tomorrow. Veronica Kell's going. If you want to be entertained, go to that. Who knows? Maybe if they're on Zoom, maybe I'll live stream it. That could be interesting. So, just to watch Veronica, if they're on Zoom, I don't know how they do things up there. I haven't ever tried, so we'll see. But what they're doing is 50 trucks a day, every day, 6 days a week, some on Sundays, are going to be coming down 13. Actually, it's really 100, so it's going in both directions. They're going to be loaded going out and empty coming home to Mason. that seems like it's 100 trucks a day coming down 13 to 119. And then some of them going left, some of them going right. I don't know where they're going to the right, but on their map, it has arrows going both left and right. I don't know after that. Well, actually, they're going to Pepperell, I think. I'm not sure where they're getting rid of it. I got to read more. But the big thing that Veronica's all up in arms about, oh my gosh, we can't have this, is the 50 to 100 trucks a day coming down 13. Oh my God, they better not come off the... And then the thing here is to everybody chill out, is we have no control over who uses any road. But specifically, I mean, you want to argue with me about that, we'll do that on another day. But Route 13 is a state highway, as is Route 119. Now, the thing that gets people confused about Route 13 is that we maintain it. The state doesn't. We maintain that road. And that's an agreement. A lot of towns have one area or another where they wanted to keep. It was probably some kind of trade-off decades ago that we did in order to get funding for something else. I don't know. But the town of Townsend Highway Department is responsible for maintaining that road. All the paving, all the potholes, the lines in the road, the snow and ice, that's us. That's on our Townsend Highway Department. That does not mean that we own it. The state still owns it. So that's a problem on this issue, because it's still a state road. And if anybody has something to say about it, it's not us, it's the state. But I mean, it's a public hearing and the public can go. We can put our 2 cents in, our select board can go in there and make a fool of themselves, whatever they want to do. But it's a state road and there is commerce. And Kieran did bring up there's a Federal Commerce Act or something. And I knew that, yes, I mean, I've known that. And that's why we've had select boards try to control who goes on what roads when, and try to, and it's like, you can't. We have the right as Americans, or as citizens, as human beings. These roads are not private. They're public, and they're public ways. Anybody can use them. Now, heavy truck use, yeah, that's wear and tear. But it's just wear and tear. These are going to be the large commercial dump trucks. Not the little 5-tonners that you sometimes see that people own to do their own stuff, or landscapers have. They're a little bigger than that. They're the big 10 or 20-ton capacity dump trucks. I'd say minimum. They might even be bigger. I'm not sure. I have to read to see if there's any description beyond that. I don't know that they even give the size of the trucks. They might just say trucks. But they're going to be 10, 20 tons capacity trucks that will be hauling this gravel through Townsend. Oh, how long? How long is that going to last? A decade. I'm not kidding. This plan that the Mason, New Hampshire Planning Board is working on, or finishing, they're closing it out. They're just getting ready to go. They're going to be doing this starting in a couple months or sooner. But this is going to kick off, and it's going to go over around 10 years until they empty this area of whatever it is. It's probably a quarry of some kind. I was trying to read it while I was sitting here while the video was playing, so I don't have all the details. I got to go back through it. But I do want to say that this is not a new thing. They didn't just come up with this, and they haven't kept it from us. We were notified about this back when Chaz and Veronica were first on the select board. I remember this coming up, and I was thrilled. I think it was them. It might have even been before them. I was not on the board, so it was after I got off the board. But I think I remember I think this really got their goat. Veronica probably doesn't remember it. The original plan, so we're talking 7 or 8 years ago, or even 9. No, 6 years ago. Yeah, I was thinking it was longer ago, but it's only been 7 since I got off the board, so 6. About 6, 5, 6 years. I'm sorry, I'm spinning on all these years. 5 or 6 years ago now. Okay, wasn't as long ago as I thought. So 5 or 6 years ago, we were notified by Mason that this plan was coming up. And when they first gave it to us, they were coming down Canal Street. They were going to be coming down 31, I think, or I'd have to look again. I'd look at the map. I've got the map of where this place is that they're coming out of there. But they were going to come down Canal Street, Route 123, 24. They're going to come down Green, must have been Mason Road. They were going to come down across the Canal Street Bridge. And I never heard any, it stopped, the conversation stopped, it just didn't go anywhere. And I thought the whole plan just wasn't going to happen. Whatever the plan was, it wasn't going to happen. And lo and behold, it was still being discussed, but projects of this size take years to develop, and I think that's why we didn't hear anything. And they did change the route. They changed it to come in. They're going to go from Mason to Brookline. I think they were planning on Mason to Townsend. Now they're going Mason to Brookline to Townsend, to wherever is the plan. And I'm not sure if they're using this granite gravel to build something. If the issue is clearing an area in Mason, or they need the granite, or it is granite, for a project elsewhere. I'm not entirely sure. I think they need it. There is a project that they're taking all this stuff out of a quarry and dumping it. I apologize if I have some of the information incorrect. I'm making assumptions and go by memory. I have the documents. I just haven't had a chance to read them, and I just got them off the website for Mason within the last couple of hours here, since they were talking about it, but I haven't had a chance to read them all. I started to go through them, and that's how I know that they come down 13 and they go, when they get to 119, they go left or right, according to the arrows. I think most of it is to the left and they're going to a project, but they may be going to multiple projects. I'm not sure. But I know that years ago, they were going to come down West Elm to Lunenburg Road and go somewhere else. They were, and I was laughing. But when I see a project of this size, I was also kind of excited when they were talking about the pipeline, because it's a jobs thing. I mean, there's opportunity. If Townsend pays attention, we just had today, there was supposedly an economic development committee meeting. And when you have a project like this, we need to not always think about things as, well, people just drive through Townsend. Townsend's not a destination. And it's like, how can we maximize the benefit of this? And no, we can't charge them fees per truck. We don't own the roads, the state does. We cannot put up a toll booth. None of that. And it's a private company who's putting in this plan. We can't, there's nothing, they're not doing anything with the granite or the gravel, whatever it is. They're not doing anything with it in Townsend. They're just driving through, which is their right to do. This is the United States. Thank you very much. We have public roads. The state roads are public roads. We can't stop this. We can put our 2 cents and say, oh, we don't like it. Yep. They're not doing it. The same conditions that Mason is putting on this company will carry over. So if they don't want them, if they don't want them to work between certain hours, then they're not. So they're not going to just park their trucks someplace and just drive us crazy. They're going to we'll get whatever Mason votes for, whatever their planning board sets up, will have the same benefit. And it looks like the hours will start from at 7 a.m. and go to some other, I don't remember what time. But I think it's a good idea for people to pay attention. I'll probably do a video at some other time in the future about what's going on. But we're gonna have traffic, a lot of trucks, but it's not gonna be the end of the world. I don't know, maybe we can get some of the gravel. I need some more. I got some from my driveway the other day. I could use a little more. But anyway, not that much. Not 50 truckloads worth a day. A day, not 50 truckloads total. This is 50 trucks a day. But this is not a new thing. I remember when they proposed, well, they were proposing it, they were informing us this is what's going to happen, and here we are. And I guess, I'm going to bet that we've been invited to this for years, and we never did anything. We just, Chaz and Veronica just sat on it. And I think that, I really think that the mail has been coming in. I really do. I think we've been on the receiving end of the mail and nobody cared. I do. And why I say this? Because they were talking to us 5-6 years ago. I do. I know this. I remember this project being discussed years ago. And then it's just died on the vine. But it didn't. The project did not die on the vine. So I think we got mail into our town hall to the town administrator for the last 5-6 years. And one thing you might notice, what happened? Oh, they fired Jim Kreidler. That's when this project just stopped being talked about. Yep. I think the next, whoever, was it Ross? Did he come in here? I think it was Ross and Eric. And I bet they were getting the mail. And I think they just saw this as information. They're just informing us of this project going on in Mason. And they never really read it. I don't know that the planning board got it. I don't think the planning board got it. I think it went to the town board of selectmen, or the town administrator. And I think that the mail regarding this project stopped getting read or stopped getting acted upon within town hall. And I think all of our previous town administrators, all the way through Nelson, did nothing about this. I think, you get mail. If you don't know what's going on, you're never going to know what's going on. At least in this town. I really think that this mail has been continuing to flow. Maybe, of course, email addresses, they may have been emailing it to dead emails, because when you leave a position, your email just gets shut off. It doesn't get forwarded. And I think that might have happened. Carolyn Smart was there too. Carolyn Smart was probably getting this. And when they got rid of her, that was probably the real end of it. Because I know, Veronica Kell hates Carolyn Smart. And I really don't care. But at least she did. She did not hold on to information. She passed it along. And she'd give her 2 cents. And I think that Veronica didn't like that. But I don't really care. She did get but when Jim and Carolyn were kicked out the door, the information flow ended or the information was coming into the 272 Main Street, but that's it. It just came in. Nobody did anything about it. And I think that the town administrator had probably been receiving envelopes or emails. Everything's emailed today. But I'd be willing to bet that there's a stack of information somewhere in the TA's office. I'm not blaming Kieran. That has been talking about this. Mason has been reaching out to us for the last 5 years, and nobody thought it was important. Now Veronica's freaking out because Kieran, when he gets the mail, he reads it. And another important thing, I think, that gives us extra points for Kieran, he's pissing me off about public records, and he knows it. But on this issue, I think he's from Dunstable. He lives in Dunstable, and he's on the select board. He's a selectman in Dunstable. And Dunstable is a bordering community with, I want to say Hollis. Is it Hollis? Maybe even Nashua. I don't know, but right there. And he's used to, both as a resident, well, he was also on their conservation commission. He was on other boards other than the select board, but now he's on the select board. And so he knows about these things that across the border, and what can I do about this? And I think when he was speaking tonight, he did mention this, but he also said, you may not be able to do anything. He was kind of not yelling that, but I don't think Veronica wanted to hear it anyway. So, so anyway, ow. So that's, but I'll bet if there were a search, there's a file someplace, or hopefully they didn't get tossed. That would be bad. Hopefully there is a file somewhere that has all the years of mail from Mason, New Hampshire, because towns pass information to each other, and sometimes it doesn't get acted on. And I think this is the situation here. And I think when Veronica shows up at the Mason Planning Board hearing tomorrow night, they're going to tell her, well, we've been notifying you for the last 5 years. We haven't kept you out of the loop. She's gonna blow up, but she's gonna be speechless. I don't know. Veronica Kell will not be speechless, but I don't know. She's gonna blame everybody, and want the whole thing she's gonna try to get him to stop the whole thing until she gets to figure out what's going on, and then thank God she's off the select board at the end of April. Oh my God. All right. So this is going to be an interesting thing. I really can't wait to really have the time to read through the documents. I don't right now. What time is it? It's almost 8 o'clock. Oh. All right. So then they went in. We're going to leave that Mason Planning Board stuff till later. So then they went into talking about the TA job posting. Veronica Kell is going to cause this to just fail. Well, actually, Veronica's going to be off the select board in a couple weeks, 4 weeks. So by the time, they're going to be posting it. So this disaster is coming. But once she's gone, I think it'll move along a little bit better. But I'm not going to go too deep into it because it was all about, I was commenting about things that Veronica was saying, and it was just, get her out of here. They're looking at advertising it a little bit too low. She wants all the benefits to fall under the salary number, which isn't going to cut it. We have to provide, there's a certain amount of training that TAs have to have as continuing education. And it's not for them, it's for us. And we can't expect that to fall under his salary. I don't think they're expecting him to pay for it, but it's going to fall under his pay and benefits, and that's a no-go. Absolute no-go. Because these training things are quite expensive, and we have to give incentives for people to come to work for us and stay. We need an experienced person. And just to shorten this, the TA selection committee has a posting up for tomorrow night. If you go to the calendar on the Townsend website, you can pull up the agenda. On the agenda, it says to, that they're having a public comment period tomorrow night, and you can send an email or carrier pigeon if you want, or you can go, or you can zoom in and provide comments, spoken comments, or you can send in written comments. I sent in written comments. I did that today. And they covered some of the things, and if I had waited till after tonight's meeting to write in my comments on my sheet, I would have said a few more things that they covered, but I'm just going to let them go. I could talk to Valerie later. Valerie's the chair of the TA selection committee, and that's who you send them to. It's I forgot her email. Now, just if you want to send your comments in email, just go get the agenda for tomorrow night's meeting, and her email address is on the agenda for people to send things to. So just do that. or just go to the meeting. It'll be worth it. All right, then let's see, they can't do anything. All right. No, we know that. All right, now we're talking about Atwood Acres. This problem will not go away. Laura Schifrin will not get over the fact that the town does not own Atwood Acres. RCAP is actually, the last I checked on the deed, RCAP, if you follow corporate ownership of corporations, I think you will find that the current owner, RCAP actually, the town actually transferred the property to RCAP decades ago. And somehow the housing authority was the last to know, even though it was the housing authority that voted for it, even though. But they didn't understand anything. And of course, you're changing people, and assumptions just carried over. Laura Schifrin for years insisted that we owned that building, and we didn't. And she also insisted that the housing authority had authority over that building. And what had happened is RCAP got sick of it, and they threw her out. Because she somehow finagled her way onto their board. The board that, there's a committee that, for the residents that live at Atwood Acres. And she got herself appointed to it. And they kicked her off because she was acting like she owned the place. And she was just really a guest. And this, Lori would probably be mad at, because she watches my videos, but I talked to RCAP at great lengths when I was a select board member. And this is not executive session, it's just, I called them and I said, what in the name of God is going on here? And I got the scoop. But they, but they're the owners. And I wanted to clear, because the housing authority was still insistent that they had some ownership. And Lori and Chaz, who were both on housing authority, really very publicly did not want anything to do with RCAP, and they were evil, and they stole the building, and they're not treating their housing people properly. And the housing authority inappropriately was involved with all of that in ways that they don't know. They're not set up, because we do not own anything. We don't own any housing, and our housing authority is not the landlord for anyone. They do not know what the laws are. I mean, Lori's a realtor, but that does not make her, even though she's a rental agent, she has no idea what the laws are regarding renting under the legal. Atwood Acres have got a special HUD designation. And Lori doesn't work with that. So she doesn't know what the laws are. And they're complex. And RCAP, that's what they do for a living. They manage multiple properties. I think they manage some of Groton's, maybe some of Pepperell, and across the state and even across the country. This is a really large organization. And it's quite exciting. If you look up what the things that RCAP does, it's really exciting. what they do, and they are experts in it. And they were talking about, they tried to stop RCAP from raising the rent at Atwood Acres, but if we were controlling it, we would be raising the rent, because you have the rules, which even Veronica Kell knows very well, because she was looking into, it's affordable housing stuff, because they were wanting to play landlord as well. But Kieran did do his homework, and he was somehow involved. Well, he probably was, yeah, because he's been involved with their housing for a little while. But they tried to ask RCAP not to raise the rent, but they have to in order to stay solvent. And they raised the rent within the controlling factors of the law, within what the rents are supposed to be for affordable housing. They have to do things within certain legal parameters, and RCAP was not going to not raise the rent, because of course nobody wants their rent raised, but they really had to. And this isn't, the town has no authority over this, so they don't. And just like any other apartment complex, they have no authority, none. And that's been a problem for Lori Schifrin and Veronica Kell as well, because Veronica keeps bringing up RCAP or keeps bringing up Atwood, because they're going to be coming off the affordable housing, and yes, they are. And I'm not going to get into all the laws and regulations regarding how that happens, but it's going to. And Veronica is thankfully going to be off the board. She'll still be on the Housing Trust for a while. I don't know how long. Maybe not that long. But she'll be, she's going to try, she wants to control the universe, and she just can't. And she can't control what happens at Atwood. And I think it's going to come off affordable housing. Maybe. And I don't think that anybody can do anything about it, even RCAP. I think that there isn't a legal means to make that stay as affordable housing. I really don't. I have to read up. I had read up on it months ago, and I can't remember all the parameters, but they're there. Okay. There is a housing, they changed the name of the housing department at Massachusetts, mass.gov. Something about livable communities. I can't remember. It's easy to find on the mass.gov, but I'll look at it, and the select board can contact them, and they will explain how this works in what should be an understandable manner. And maybe at some point, as this continues to be a problem, I will probably do a video to explain it to everybody. Not that anybody will listen. Okay. Okay, snow and ice. Kieran was talking about the budget, and he came up with a number that, did I pull it up? Let me see. I did. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pull it up, because I can. Share screen. Share screen. Yeah, window. Oh, I'm pulling up the wrong screens. Here we go. What am I doing? That's what I want. Oh, let me try that again. There it is. Yay! This is snow and ice. This is as of March 2nd, what this is, I'm going to make this bigger if I can. Whoops. Okay. There it is. That fits. Okay. This is the snow and ice report for February, which is, it brings everything up to date. So I'm going to show it. Everybody can see. I get this every month, and I've been watching this like a hawk because the budget, it had been budgeted so horribly for the last few years. The town had level funded this at 241, 240 for about 4 years, which is just sickening. So we're budgeted 241, and we spent 455,000, almost 456 already. That leaves us right as of the 1st of March with a deficit. We've overspent the snow and ice budget by $214,520.83. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, actually. The only problem is we under budgeted, which everybody knows, but with snow and ice, it's the only budget item in this that's allowed. A municipality can deficit spend because snow and ice, it's a weather related thing. We can't predict it. So it's allowed by law that we deficit spend. And we, unfortunately, Townsend has taken advantage of it to our demise. And we're really, to have it almost equal like this is wrong. Oh, it's not recommended. This is bad fiscal policy. So I have to look at what he's budgeting. This needs to be, this 241 for fiscal year 27, we need to add 200,000 to that. We do. And for a budget, in order, because we're not through the season yet, and we will definitely need 441,000 at least next year, because as of the end of February, 1st of March, we've spent almost double that budgeted number. So we have a deficit as of the 1st of March of 214,000. Kieran, I know he's trying. I'm not beating him up, but he's trying to meet somebody in the middle, and what's going to happen is it might not be good enough because winter is not over. He's hedging his bets. He might be right. He might be right. I'm going to give him that. I'm nervous about it, but I don't know what the highway department is spending on snow and ice in March. We've had some snow. We've had freezing rain. We've had icing conditions overnight. The temperature drops below freezing even after a lot of melting, and this requires the roads to be treated. Everybody's got to go out and do more work, and then they have to continually buy more salt or the chemicals that they put down. And yeah, there's a lot there. There's a lot. We've already spent almost 183,000 was just the chemicals they put down on the roads. And that's for the season, which they probably started treating roads in November, but nothing heavy until December. December and January and February were brutal months for all of us. And March has been lighter, but we can't think we like the weather, but the roads don't. And to tell you the absolute truth, winter can't be declared over until April 30th when it comes to snow and ice expenditures. And that's why I'm not convinced that Kieran got a good number. I don't think I gave you what it was. Kieran estimated tonight that he's put into his calculations for his free cash calculations to say he's dedicating the total of $315,000 is what he thinks that he's going to need to clear snow and ice. he could be right. He could be right. But I'm not convinced. I'm not. Because March is still, we had a little snow yesterday, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And we've had icing overnight. You know, there's stuff. I can't remember what the weather was on March 1st, 2nd, 3rd, but those are all in the next report. And then those of you that have been around a while, we've had some significant snowstorms in April. We've had more than a foot of snow at once in April. And I know it's not really part of this plan, but the latest snowfall that I have seen in my lifetime, the biggest storm after April 30th that I saw, it only happened once that I'm aware of. I mean, it can happen. That I remember. I mean, it's happened other times. But on May 7th, 1977, we got a major blizzard. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. The real, oh my gosh, what are we going to do, blizzard? And I was home on leave. I was in the Army. I was getting ready to be transferred from Fort Sill, Oklahoma to Germany. And I shipped all my winter clothes. I mean, I was in Oklahoma, which was warmer already. I figured it would be warm enough for me to be in Massachusetts in May. I was wrong. I brought mostly shorts. I shipped all my other clothing to Germany, which I didn't see for months because they lost my stuff. That's how it goes. They found it months later. I had to buy all the clothes when I got to Germany. That was fun. But yep, I'm there in the middle of a blizzard in shorts. And that's a true story. But the day after the blizzard, I was on the beach on Revere Beach. You know, back then we didn't have cell phones where we could take pictures of everything, and I didn't bring a camera, but I was on the beach with my mother, and on Revere Beach, snow mounds of snow in the pictures. But it was beach weather. We were in bathing suits, and yep. So May 7th of 77. So that can happen. So even though I'm saying we can declare winter over April 30th, that's not necessarily even true then. And I know people, oh no, wait, global warming, don't worry about it. No, global warming is what causes extreme weather patterns, which means we could still be in for it. There could be a big snowstorm between now and April 30th. Although the weather forecast, they say there's a heat wave coming. I don't know what to tell you. But extreme weather patterns can bring extreme weather in going both directions. So there we have that. I know people don't want to talk about snow right now. So anyway, so that's that. So I'm not too sure about this $315,000 that Kieran's putting in there. I'd like him to be right for the budget purposes, but I think I would rather have gone to 350. I mean, I've been talking all winter about 400,000 is going to be needed to close out snow and ice. And only for my own pride would I want to be right. But if he's budgeting my town budget to say a much lower number, and it's going to screw us all up, I hope he's right so that his budget works out. But it's not going to be pretty when we get to town meeting. And we'll have the snow and ice report. We will have the snow and ice report for April by the time town meeting comes around. So whatever. So let me get that out of there. Okay. What else did they talk about? Oh, they were talking about the legal costs, because they tried to put a stabilization account for legal expenses on the special town meeting warrant that we just had. And I got up and I said, this doesn't make a lick of sense. to do that, because if you put any money into stabilization, you cannot touch it. The select board would not have access to it anymore. Only town meeting can spend that money. If we got a legal bill in, they'd have to call a special town meeting to pay the law firm in order to spend that money. The select board cannot write checks out of a stabilization account just because they called it, it's for the lawyers. Well, yeah. But we have to vote on you taking the money out. You have to have a town meeting in order to spend any money out of a stabilization account. So thank God that didn't pass. And I think somebody did mention, I didn't mention, when I spoke at town meeting, I didn't even mention that. I just said this doesn't make any sense. This is a number that should be in the budget, not in a stabilization account. This is crazy. But it's absolutely true that she would have to call, the Board of Selectmen would be up a creek because they'd have to have a special town meeting just to pay the lawyers. And let me tell you, we've got some serious legal bills coming in because we have $1 million lawsuit going on. They didn't mention that. They have not mentioned that in a meeting about paying the lawyers. They mentioned the union negotiations. Oh, that's costing us hours and hours. It's no. Well, yeah, but the $1 million lawsuit's going to cost us a lot more because we're paying the lawyers to defend us in that lawsuit. And then they have made it, the insurance companies who they thought might cover it, I thought that might cover it, have actually issued letters, which I have, that they're not covering it. The $1 million lawsuit is on the taxpayer. So next year, there's going to be a special town meeting sometime to figure out how we're going to pay for this when we lose. And because we're going to lose. We're going to lose. And that's it. All there is to it. All right. I've kept you long enough. I was supposed to do some at 8. I missed that deadline. Okay. I talked too much. So here we are. What the hell? I fold it over somehow. All right. So thank you, everybody, for those. Everybody's bailed on me already. That's okay. I'll get over it. So for those of you that are watching this on the replay, if you haven't already liked the video, like it now. And if you're not subscribed, please do so. Share this video with your friends. Comment. Please comment. I read the comments. I do. Sometimes I comment back. All right. So thanks everybody for sticking it out with me for 3 videos today. I did Starbucks, I did another Economic Development Committee meeting, and I did this. I have been sitting in front of this computer too long. So I'm going to probably go to bed early. You guys are exhausting me. All right, so thanks everybody. Have a good rest of your evening, and I will catch you on the next video, which maybe I'll get a day or 2 off. Maybe. All right. Take care, everybody. Let me shut that down. Get that out. All right. Good night, everybody.